Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's Combo Breaker 99. I'm back with another video. All right, y'all, back with some shocking news. Well, not really shocking news, just breaking news somewhat. Bittersweet news. Well, sweet news, depending on how you look at the situation. But we talked about it a little bit in the live stream last night. And just in case you missed it, just dropping a video for y'all. But yeah, man, Claudia Gadelha, former strawweight contender Claudia Gadelha, she's retiring. She's calling it quits from the sport of MMA. She already notified the UFC that she's walking away from the sport. She's retiring. She's done competing. And like I said, told some other people, that have been asking me before she announced this. I was like, I don't know. She might be closer to retirement. I don't know. I just been connecting the dots. And I mean, once you connect the dots with this one, you can pretty much say that all signs were pointing to her no longer fighting because, number one, she never really showed any signs of really having that spark anymore, right? She never really had that animal anymore as far as her posts. Like, if you look at the evolution of her Instagram and her social media, she's really just been becoming more of a model and more of just like a physical fitness type model, physical fitness type physique and everything. Like, she's never really been in that mode of training hard anymore, posting those type of sparring footage photos, or you never heard anything about, oh, it's just an injury, I'll be back, I'm coming back against so-and-so, no call outs, none of that kind of talk anymore. You never even saw any pictures of her like signing a contract, so the more and more you looked at it, it was just like she's connecting all the dots to retire. I mean, somebody we wanted to see that evolution in was like Karolina Kowalkiewicz as well, who I'll talk about here in a minute. But Claudia pretty much, I think we could already say she was pretty much done maybe like 6 months ago, right? I know there have been talks about her having to retire because of the concussion she suffered in her last fight, which I was thinking that as well, because even over the summer, people were talking about, oh, man, she's been out because of this concussion. It's a little bit worse than we think, which I hope it's not. I hope it's just that she felt signs of it and she's just like, I'm done with it. Kind of like, Felicia Spencer and Roxy. I hope it's not anything worse than, we think it is. But yeah, my thoughts on her retiring, I'm happy for her. Number one, I'm just happy for her because I don't want to see another fighter hurt. I know some people say, oh, I just want her out of the rank and she's holding it up. But number one, I'm glad she's done because I don't want to see her hurt. I don't want to see any more fighters wind up brain dead, blind, or anything like that, or dying, and for a fighter like Claudia Gadelha, somebody that hasn't been showing the fire or who just hasn't been showing the improvements throughout the past few years, I think it's time to be done. There's some fighters like Roxy that, got a lot of losses, good number of wins, but, they can still compete because they stay consistent. Like, they still can stay consistent to a certain point, but there comes a point where your body's going to fail on you. And I think that's kind of what's happening with Roxy. Roxy still had a high IQ where she could still school these green fighters, like she's probably going to do, she's going to try to do in January against Casey O'Neill, right? But fighters like Claudia Gadelha, I don't think they really had enough in their arsenal to continue to compete even against these up-and-coming contenders, like, for example, Amanda Lemos, right? Fighters like that, you need more than one tool than just being a grappler, just having physical strength. And I think Claudia Gadelha has never really evolved. That's something I've been talking about since 2015 with her, even after her rematch with Wmma, and even the Jessica Andrade fight. She just never really showed that evolution to say, I'm in this for the long haul. She just had the one particular style. And once that style fails, as the game evolves, what else can you do? Because while everybody else is evolving, they're going to be putting that work in, getting better and better. And then your one-dimensional style, that's why we say it leads to an early grave, because once you're one-dimensional, you're easy pickings. Not just, to fall down the rankings, but physically, you're going to get hurt in there, And that's kind of what happened with Claudia Gadelha. She's never really advanced with her IQ. So that's one of the top reasons I'm glad she's done, because she hasn't changed. She hasn't evolved, hasn't improved in the cardio. And I don't want to see her hurt, because she's going to become a sitting target for these much better strikers, powerful fighters coming up, And number two, got to make room, got to weed them out. Got to weed them out just like they're doing in the flyweight division. There's a lot of fighters in there that are holding the division up. They've had their chances, for gold. Some fighters, they failed because they have took the chance against Valentina in the flyweight division. But some just don't want it, like the fighters like Roxy. So they're going to retire, you know what I mean? JoJo, made bad business moves. So eventually they're going to need to retire. For Claudia, she had her chance. She had her chance against Wmma, had her chance against Wmma in the rematch. And then she had her chance to take on Andrade in her debut. and, make a big statement to knock her down, approach that fight the wrong way. And, she's just kind of been on the downside since then. She's had some good wins, some controversial wins, like controversial against Angela Hill. She had a big win against Carolina Kobachevich. She's fought Courtney Casey. She's fought a lot of the names. She has a good pound-for-pound resume, Wmma twice. But overall, it was always just like kind of a seesaw battle with her. She just never really was able to level up even after those Wmma fights. But I really think it was that Jessica Andrade fight that really took something out of her mentally and physically, because she went in there thinking she could just hang with this brute force. You know what I mean? Come at this brute force and just hang and possibly beat her at her own game. But it didn't work that way. I picked Claudia to win that fight because I said, okay, Claudia is probably going to use her striking, which she did for like the first minute of the fight. But the minute she got pulled into a dog fight, it was just like downhill from there. And, she didn't have her heart was too big to be stopped in that fight. You know what I mean? Her heart was too big to be stopped. So she wanted to go to war and just stay in that type of fight. She never wanted to fight off of her IQ and use her advantages. So she just wound up taking a really bad beating in that fight. And I think that really took something out of her, really, man. Like, throughout the years, she just never really evolved. She would still come up with some wins here and there, but she never looked like that force that we've seen, even against Wmma when she fought Wmma 2 times, right? So I'm just glad she's done, man, because, again, weed them out. We got some more fighters coming up, Amanda Lemos, even like the Cheyenne Velismus, those type of fighters, they need to start, getting better, of course, and, making their way in. Lupi Ganidez, fighters like that, they're coming in now. They're coming in. So somebody like Claudia, who hasn't really gotten to a high level and really hasn't, even before, this concussion, she really hasn't been showing like that growth. It's time to go. But yeah, man, she's retiring with a record of 18-5. I think she's 7-5 in the UFC. Let's see. She's defeated fighters like Jessica Aguilar, Courtney Casey, Carolina Kobachevich, close decisions against Carla Esparza, Angela Hill. She's beat Randa Marcos. But she always came up short against those fighters that just had that better stand-up game and just better IQ, like Nina Ansaroff, Wmma, Yan Zhaonan, those fighters with those type of hands, they could just put it on her. Then just total demolition from Jessica Andrade in that fight. But yeah, shout out to Claudia Gadelha, man. I'm just glad she's done with the sport now, because there's other things she could be doing. She could be a trainer, personal trainer. The modeling thing is working out for her. So yeah, man, 18-5. Claudia Gadelha is done. No more calling her fights, guys. Let me know what y'all think. Combo Breaker 99. I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.